Picture this. It's 1450-66, and the master locksmith Heinrich von Nuremberg is putting the finishing touches on a lock commissioned by the Holy Roman Emperor for his private treasury. This isn't just any lock, but a mechanical marvel that requires 3 different keys, turned in precise sequence while manipulating hidden levers and rotating internal wheels, that must align perfectly before the mechanism will release. The lock contains over 200 individual components, each hand-forged and fitted with tolerances so precise that unauthorized duplication would be virtually impossible, even for skilled metalworkers. But Heinrich's masterpiece includes additional surprises: hidden spring-loaded mechanisms that will jam permanently if someone attempts to pick the lock, and internal chambers that release marking dies to identify anyone who tries to gain unauthorized access. This represents the pinnacle of medieval security technology, but it's not unique. How did medieval locksmiths develop such sophisticated security systems? What techniques and knowledge allowed them to create locks that were often more secure than modern alternatives? The development of advanced medieval locksmithing reflected the intersection of metallurgy, mechanical engineering, and practical security needs that drove continuous innovation in an era when physical security was literally a matter of life and death. Medieval locksmiths weren't just craftsmen making simple door hardware, but security engineers who understood complex mechanical principles and applied sophisticated manufacturing techniques to create devices that could protect enormous wealth and sensitive information. Medieval locksmithing guilds operated under strict secrecy requirements that protected advanced techniques from unauthorized practitioners while maintaining quality standards that ensured locks would function reliably under real-world security conditions. Guild members underwent extensive training that combined theoretical knowledge with practical experience, creating specialists who understood both the mechanical principles and the security requirements that made effective locks possible. The guild initiation process for aspiring locksmiths involved rigorous testing that evaluated not just technical skills but personal character and trustworthiness that were essential for practitioners who would have access to security secrets that could compromise important installations. Master locksmiths served as character witnesses who vouched for apprentices seeking admission to advanced training programs that revealed the most sensitive locksmithing techniques. Guild oath ceremonies required new members to swear elaborate pledges that bound them to maintain professional secrecy, refuse commissions from known criminals, and report any suspicious requests that might indicate criminal intent. These oaths were taken before religious authorities and included spiritual penalties that reinforced the practical consequences of violating professional trust. The materials science knowledge required for advanced medieval locksmithing included understanding of metallurgy, heat treatment, and precision manufacturing that could produce components with tolerances measured in fractions of millimeters. Master locksmiths developed specialized knowledge about steel composition, tempering techniques, and surface treatments that could create mechanisms capable of precise operation over decades of use. Steel selection for high-security locks required understanding of carbon content, grain structure, and heat treatment responses that could produce metal with optimal hardness, durability, and resistance to picking tools. Master locksmiths developed relationships with specialized steel suppliers, who could provide materials with consistent quality and specific properties needed for different lock components. Heat treatment techniques for lock components involved precise temperature control and timing that could achieve optimal hardness without creating brittleness that would cause components to fail under normal use. These techniques required specialized furnaces, temperature measurement methods, and cooling procedures that were closely guarded trade secrets. Surface finishing processes for lock components included techniques for achieving smooth operation, corrosion resistance, and precise tolerances that ensured reliable function over extended periods. Master locksmiths developed specialized polishing, filing, and adjustment procedures that could create components that worked together with clockwork precision. But here's where medieval locksmithing becomes truly remarkable. These craftsmen developed mechanical principles and security concepts that anticipated many features of modern high-security locks, including multiple authentication factors, anti-tampering mechanisms, and sophisticated key control systems that prevented unauthorized duplication. The complexity of advanced medieval locks required understanding of gear systems, spring mechanisms, and precision manufacturing that challenged the limits of medieval technology, while creating security devices that were often more sophisticated than anything available until the Industrial Revolution. Master locksmiths had to understand physics, engineering, and manufacturing at levels that rivaled the most advanced craftsmen of their era. Gear system design for complex locks involved creating mechanical ratios that could multiply force, change direction of movement, and create timing sequences that required specific manipulation patterns for successful operation. These gear systems often included planetary arrangements, differential mechanisms, and compound ratios that created complex mechanical behaviors from simple input motions. Spring mechanism engineering required understanding of metal fatigue, force calculations, and reliability considerations that could create spring-loaded systems capable of consistent operation over thousands of cycles. Lock springs had to provide precise force levels while maintaining their properties despite temperature variations and long periods of inactivity. Timing mechanism design for sequential locks involved creating mechanical systems that required specific sequences of operations performed within precise time windows. These mechanisms often included escapement-like devices that controlled the rate of mechanical operations while ensuring that improper timing would prevent successful lock operation. Internal mechanism design for medieval locks involved creating complex mechanical systems that could perform multiple functions simultaneously while maintaining reliability and security over extended periods. These mechanisms often included dozens of individual components that had to work together with precision timing and exact tolerances to provide both security and functionality. Component interdependence in complex locks meant that each piece had to be manufactured to exact specifications while fitting perfectly with other components that were also made to precise tolerances. This manufacturing challenge required exceptional skill and quality control that pushed medieval metalworking capabilities to their limits. Lubrication systems for complex lock mechanisms involved understanding of friction, wear patterns, and maintenance requirements that could keep intricate mechanisms operating smoothly despite limited access for servicing. Master locksmiths developed specialized lubricants and application techniques that could maintain lock function for extended periods without external maintenance. The key systems developed for advanced medieval locks were remarkably sophisticated, often requiring multiple keys, specific insertion sequences, and precise manipulation techniques that made unauthorized access extremely difficult even for skilled lockpickers. Some locks required keys that had to be turned in opposite directions simultaneously, while others needed sequential key insertions with specific timing requirements. Multi-key systems required coordination between multiple key holders, who each possessed part of the access credentials needed to open high-security locks. These systems ensured that no single individual could access protected assets without cooperation from other authorized persons, creating security through distributed control. Sequential key operations required specific timing and coordination that made lock operation impossible without detailed knowledge of proper procedures. These systems often included mechanical interlocks that prevented improper operation while ensuring that correct procedures would reliably open the lock. Key profile complexity in advanced medieval locks included intricate cutting patterns, multiple engagement surfaces, and specialized materials that made unauthorized duplication extremely difficult without access to original manufacturing techniques and equipment. Master locksmiths created unique key profiles that required specialized tools and knowledge to reproduce accurately. Key control systems developed by medieval locksmiths included techniques for preventing unauthorized key duplication while ensuring that legitimate users could access their locks reliably. Master locksmiths created unique key profiles, complex cutting patterns, and specialized materials that made key copying extremely difficult without access to original manufacturing techniques and specialized equipment. Key tracking systems maintained detailed records of key distribution, replacement, and recovery that allowed security managers to monitor access credentials while ensuring accountability for key usage. These systems often included physical key storage, documentation procedures, and audit trails that provided security oversight. Key replacement procedures for high-security locks required verification of user identity, destruction of old keys, and reconfiguration of lock mechanisms that ensured continued security despite credential changes. These procedures often involved multiple authorization levels and extensive documentation that protected against unauthorized access. The anti-tampering mechanisms built into advanced medieval locks included spring-loaded systems that would jam permanently if someone attempted to pick or force the lock, internal poison needle systems that could injure unauthorized intruders, and marking mechanisms that would identify anyone who attempted unauthorized access. These systems required sophisticated understanding of mechanical engineering and human psychology. Jam mechanisms in medieval locks used spring-loaded components that would engage permanently if the lock was manipulated improperly, creating mechanical failures that could only be repaired by complete disassembly and reconstruction. These mechanisms required precise adjustment to ensure they would activate during tampering attempts without interfering with normal operation. Injury systems in some high-security medieval locks included concealed needles, blades, or other devices that would wound anyone attempting unauthorized manipulation. These systems reflected the serious consequences of security breaches while providing immediate deterrent effects that discouraged tampering attempts. Detection systems in medieval locks could identify tampering attempts and either prevent access or mark intruders for later identification. Some locks included internal chambers that released dyes or powders when improperly manipulated, while others had mechanisms that would create distinctive marks on picks or tools used by unauthorized persons. Marking mechanisms used permanent dyes, powders, or other substances that would identify anyone who attempted unauthorized lock manipulation. These systems provided forensic evidence that could help identify security breaches while creating psychological deterrent effects that discouraged tampering attempts. Destruction mechanisms in some high-security medieval locks would permanently disable the device if tampering was detected, ensuring that even if the lock was compromised, it couldn't be used again. These mechanisms required careful engineering to ensure they would activate only during genuine tampering attempts rather than normal use or maintenance. Now here's where medieval locksmithing reveals its true sophistication. The training systems that preserved advanced locksmithing knowledge required apprenticeships that could last for decades while including both technical education and character evaluation that ensured advanced techniques were taught only to trustworthy individuals who would maintain guild secrecy requirements. Apprenticeship duration for advanced locksmithing often exceeded 10 years, with progression through multiple skill levels that gradually revealed more sophisticated techniques and sensitive security knowledge. This extended training period allowed master locksmiths to evaluate apprentice character while ensuring thorough technical competence. Skill progression in locksmith apprenticeships followed carefully structured curricula that combined theoretical education with practical experience under close supervision. Apprentices learned basic metalworking before advancing to simple lock mechanisms, then progressing to complex security devices only after demonstrating both technical competence and personal reliability. Character evaluation procedures for locksmith apprentices included observation of behavior, testing of ethical responses, and investigation of personal relationships that could indicate reliability or security risks. Master locksmiths understood that technical skills alone were insufficient for practitioners who would have access to sensitive security information. Master locksmiths served as gatekeepers who controlled access to advanced knowledge while ensuring that security techniques didn't fall into the wrong hands. They developed testing procedures that evaluated both technical competence and personal reliability before sharing the most sophisticated locksmithing secrets with qualified apprentices. Knowledge protection protocols included compartmentalization of sensitive information, graduated revelation of techniques based on proven trustworthiness, and ongoing monitoring of apprentice behavior that could indicate security risks or inappropriate use of locksmithing knowledge. Guild regulations governing medieval locksmithing included strict requirements for member conduct, customer confidentiality, and knowledge protection that maintained the security value of advanced techniques while ensuring that locks would be available to legitimate customers who needed high security protection. Professional ethics in medieval locksmithing included obligations to refuse commissions from known criminals, maintain confidentiality about customer security arrangements, and provide honest assessments of security requirements that protected both customers and the reputation of the locksmithing profession. Medieval locksmithing practices established precedents for modern security engineering, manufacturing quality control, and professional ethics that continue to influence contemporary approaches to physical security and mechanical engineering. The emphasis on precision manufacturing, security innovation, and customer confidentiality evolved directly from medieval locksmithing traditions. Most importantly, medieval locksmiths demonstrated that sophisticated security systems can be created through skilled craftsmanship, systematic innovation, and professional dedication that combines technical expertise with ethical responsibility for protecting customer assets and maintaining security standards. So what tricks did medieval locksmiths use to create unpickable locks? They developed sophisticated mechanical systems that combined multiple security layers, anti-tampering mechanisms, and precision manufacturing techniques to create devices that were often more secure and reliable than modern alternatives, while using only hand tools and accumulated knowledge passed down through generations of master craftsmen. They proved that effective security depends more on understanding mechanical principles, manufacturing precision, and systematic innovation than on advanced technology, creating security devices that demonstrated remarkable ingenuity while establishing foundations for all subsequent developments in lock design and security engineering. The next time you use a modern lock, or appreciate contemporary security systems, remember the medieval locksmith who combined metallurgy with mechanical engineering to create security devices that protected royal treasuries and church reliquaries, developing techniques and principles that continue to influence security design while demonstrating the remarkable capabilities of skilled craftsmanship applied to practical security challenges. If you enjoy the hidden sides of medieval life, hit subscribe and give this video a like.